Have you ever read novels or short stories and beginning to imagine things and take a note of how the elements appears one by one in the stories? Did you ever try to take it to the next level and wonders what it means? If not, no problems, because it might feel overwhelming and all. Reading a story and figuring out what are the signs that appears does not always something you can analyze easily. Signs appear in a story often as something to make storyline flows better or to connect the dots the author created in the stories. This, however, is not the case. In this video, I will go ahead and examine 5 ghost stories from the end of the Dutch Indish era that uses brilliant signs in order to convey the underlying stories. 5 ghost stories published by the Bataviaasch Nieuwsblad newspaper in 1936 to 1939 were used as corpus. The authors chose these stories because it was published in one of the largest newspapers in Batavia at the end of the reign and considered as interesting enough ghost stories. Het spook in de oude bruch, een griezelige nacht, Roemah Hantoe, spoken Bestaan Niet, and Spookverhaal. Why would I pick these ghost stories? Well, for starters, in 2018 to 2019, the production of the Indonesian ghost stories is much in demand and favored. Even in 2020, the ghost content on YouTube is still lively and sellable in the Indonesian market. The existence of ghosts cannot be separated from the daily lives of Indonesians. I am interested in exploring further how the signs of the emergence of a ghostly figure believed by the people in the colonial era. This study uses a descriptive qualitative method with an approach using the analysis of language semiotics from the perspective of Charles Sanders Peirce. It means I broke down the signs based on the elements introduced by Peirce in his Triadic Model, which is Representament, Object, and Interpretant. A Representament, the not necessarily physical form of the sign. An interpretant, the sense made of the signs in the mind of the observer. This can be another sign, and an object that to which the sign refers. I then further broke down the elements by categorizing the signs based on the receptors of human senses. You can see here ghost signs that appears using the senses of sight, hearing, touch, and smell. No sign was found that uses the sense of taste as a receptor. However, it does not rule out the sense of taste as a receptor to appear in other short stories. In addition, the authors also found that the signs of ghost appearances contained in the short stories in Kinderkrant did not create a tense atmosphere when read by a general reader, but quite tense for children. These 2 stories for children confirms that the ghost does not exist through the stories that are told. In the ghost stories not included in the Kinderkrant, 2 of them, namely Ruemah Hantoe and Spookverhaal, also do not prove the existence of ghosts in the story. However, the atmosphere was built more tense. There is only one short story which shows that something that a character sees is really a ghost, namely een griezelige nacht. Bataviaasch Nieuwsblad, Wednesday edition, October 14th, 1936. In this story, the atmosphere is built more tense and more tense until the end of the story. Another thing that is quite interesting is that that story does not use Indonesian place. No figures are described as indigenous. The author sees this phenomenon as a sign that actually the readers of the Bataviaasch Nieuwsblad newspaper, the majority of whom are Dutch, also like ghost stories as an entertainment and light reading even though they claim to be a rational-minded nation and do not believe in ghosts. Perhaps this can be investigated more deeply about ghost stories as a means or media for the propaganda of the Dutch government who were Westerners and believed that ghosts did not exist.